All right, so today we're diving deep into AI deep search, and things are getting really interesting. We found this article from AI Time. It's a Korean news outlet, and they're talking about this kind of David and Goliath situation brewing between a company called Perplexity and, the big guy, OpenAI.
Yeah, I think everyone's heard of them.
So,
Perplexity just announced their new AI agent, Deep Research, and it's built to handle, all this information overload that's out there.
so like a research assistant that can cut through the noise.
Exactly. It can analyze all that complex data and basically give you a short report all in just a few minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. The article mentions Perplexity's Deep Research did pretty well on something called the Humanities Last Exam benchmark. They scored 20.5% accuracy. Can you explain what that benchmark is?
Sure. So Humanities Last Exam, or HLE, it's basically an IQ test for AI. It measures how well it can solve problems, understand those complex concepts.
Ah, I see.
So Perplexity score, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it is a little lower than OpenAI's. They got a 26.6% on the same benchmark.
Okay, so there's a little performance gap, but Perplexity looks like they have a big advantage in pricing. The article says they're way cheaper than OpenAI. Like, users get 5 free queries every day, and for $20 a month, you get 500 daily queries. That's a huge difference compared to, $200 a month for OpenAI for just 100 queries?
Yeah, $200 a month gets you 100 queries with OpenAI, so Perplexity is much cheaper. And it seems like they're doing this on purpose. The article quotes their CEO, Aravind Srinivas. He says, knowledge should be universally accessible and useful.
Right.
He even criticizes the rest of the industry for what he calls exorbitantly expensive subscription plans.
It really does sound they're going right after OpenAI, but beyond the whole price war thing, what is it about deep search that makes it so revolutionary? I mean, what makes it different from just a regular search engine?
Well, think about it. Traditional search engines, they mostly rely on keywords and links, right? Deep search, it takes it to a whole other level.
Okay.
It uses these sophisticated AI algorithms that actually analyze what your query means, the context, all of that. So it can understand more complex questions, take information from all sorts of sources, even come up with new insights you wouldn't find with a regular search.
So it's not just finding websites then. It's about understanding what's on those websites and making connections.
Exactly. It's like having a research assistant who can not only find the right books, but read them, analyze them, give you the key takeaways.
Okay, now that's impressive. The article mentions Perplexity's going for speed too, saying deep research gets results in about 3 minutes, compared to OpenAI's 5 to 30 minutes processing time. So does that mean they're sacrificing accuracy to be faster?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Perplexity seems to think they can be both fast and accurate. It might appeal to a lot of users who just want quick results, but we'll have to wait and see if they can really deliver on that without sacrificing the depth of their analysis.
Right, it's all about finding that balance. Some people might need that quick overview, others might want something much more comprehensive. We'll have to see how that plays out.
And that's where AI agents come into the picture. These agents are basically programs that can do things on their own. They use AI to make decisions, interact with different systems, all that.
So they're running the show behind the scenes.
In a way, yes. When it comes to deep search, the AI agent figures out your query, what the best search strategy is, then it processes the results and presents them to you in a way that makes sense.
Got it. So it's more than just the algorithms themselves. It's how those algorithms are used by these agents. And it looks like Perplexity is not the only one doing this. The article mentions Elon Musk's company, XAI. They're developing their own deep search feature. And there's also a Chinese company, DeepSeek, getting into the game.
Yeah, it seems like deep search is becoming the must-haves for any AI company. It really shows how important it is to make complex information easier to access. With so many companies competing now, it's going to be interesting to see how they try to stand out from the crowd, not just on price, but on the features and what their AI agents can do.
Absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to watch this all unfold, and I think this is a perfect place to take a break. So we'll be back in a few minutes to continue our deep dive into the world of AI deep search. It feels like we're on the edge of a deep search revolution with all these companies like Perplexity and OpenAI and XAI and DeepSeek all competing. It makes you wonder what this means for the future of AI. Like, will everyone be able to use it, or is there a downside to all this?
That's the key question. On the one hand, this competition could mean cheaper AI tools for everyone. Imagine researchers, students, journalists, even just regular people being able to use deep search without spending a fortune. It could change everything for fields like education, science, even things like creative writing.
It's pretty exciting to think about what we could do with that, but is there a catch? Could this focus on lower prices end up hurting the quality of these tools?
That's definitely something to think about. While making things accessible is good, we have to watch out for those potential trade-offs. One possibility is that companies might start prioritizing speed and low cost over getting the best analysis.
I see.
So you might get quick results, but they might not be detailed enough for serious research or making important decisions.
So it's not just about getting any answer, it's about getting the right answer. And that sometimes takes time and resources.
Exactly. There's a risk of oversimplifying things if everyone's just focused on speed and affordability. We need to make sure that deep search tools are not just fast, but also that they're reliable, accurate, and able to handle the complexities of information.
It seems like different people might need different things from these tools. Like researchers might care most about accuracy, while someone just looking for a quick summary might be fine with a faster, less detailed response.
Definitely. What users need and expect will play a big time in how deep search develops. It could even lead to specialized tools for specific tasks and groups.
Okay.
Like, imagine some deep search engines designed for academics, others made for businesses, and still others for people who just want to learn and explore on their own.
That makes sense. And what about the role of open source AI models? The article touched on that briefly. Could you talk more about how open source development might change things? Could it make deep search even more accessible?
So open source AI models, those are basically algorithms and data sets that anyone can use, change, and share freely.
Right.
This could be a huge change because it lets individuals and smaller companies build their own deep search tools without needing the resources of a big tech company.
So it's like giving everyone the tools to create their own solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. But wouldn't that also lead to a lot of different tools and maybe even problems with quality and reliability?
That's the other side of the coin. With open source, you get all this potential for new ideas and customized tools, but you also lose some control over how the technology is used and developed. It's a bit of a wild west out there.
Okay.
This is where the community becomes really important. People working together, reviewing each other's work, sharing best practices, all that will be really important for making sure open source deep search tools are high quality.
So it's not just about the code itself, it's about the people writing the code, making ethical choices, and sharing the responsibility to use this technology for good. It feels like a turning point for AI. We're moving past science fiction and into a world where anyone can use these powerful tools.
I agree. We're right on the edge of a major shift, and it's both exciting and a little scary. The choices we make now as developers and as users will determine what AI becomes and how it affects our lives.
This conversation has been really eye-opening. Maybe we can summarize some of the key points for our listeners before we move on.
Sure. We talked about how all this competition in deep search could make AI tools cheaper and easier to get. And that could mean more people have access to knowledge and information.
Yeah.
But we also need to be careful to make sure cheaper prices don't mean we sacrifice accuracy and depth of analysis.
Right, and we discussed how open source AI models could let individuals and smaller companies build their own tools, which would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But that also comes with the responsibility to ensure the quality, reliability, and ethical use of these tools.
Exactly. As we move forward, it's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to all of us to make sure it's used in a way that benefits humanity.
I think that's a perfect lead-in to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some specific scenarios for how deep search might change our lives. So stick with us as we go even deeper into this fascinating and rapidly changing field. So we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into AI deep search.
We've talked about the tech, the competition, the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. Now I think it's time to put on our futurist hats and imagine what might happen next.
Okay, I like that.
So one scenario is, this price war could lead to few companies in the market. Like maybe the smaller companies can't keep up with OpenAI and Google.
Right, they might have to merge or get bought out.
So instead of lots of options, we might end up with just a few big players calling the shots.
It's definitely possible. But that might not be all bad. It could mean more standard features and pricing, which would make it easier for people to compare and pick the right tool.
That makes sense. It could make things less confusing, especially with all this new tech coming out so fast.
Yeah, definitely. Another interesting possibility is, what if open source AI models really take off?
We talked about that a bit before.
Right, so that could mean individuals and smaller companies could build their own deep search tools, even without the resources of a giant company.
That could change the whole game. More people creating, more innovation, more specialized applications.
Yeah, it could be really exciting. We could see all these niche deep search tools made for specific fields, like one for historical research or another one just for scientific papers.
That's pretty amazing. But with all that access comes more responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
How do we make sure these tools are used ethically and to help society?
That's the big question. As deep search gets more popular, we have to think about the ethics, like bias in the algorithms, people's privacy, even the potential for misuse.
It makes me think of that idea of explainable AI, where you can actually see how the algorithms make decisions.
Yeah.
If we're going to trust these tools, to guide our research, our choices, even our understanding of the world, we need to know how they're coming up with their answers.
I totally agree. Transparency and accountability are going to be crucial as deep search becomes more integrated into our lives.
Okay.
It'll take developers, researchers, policymakers, even users, all working together to figure out the ethical guidelines and make sure these tools are developed and used responsibly.
Speaking of users, how do you think the way we interact with deep search might change?
Well, I think we'll see more personalized and intuitive interfaces.
Okay.
Imagine AI assistants that know what you need. They could do research based on what you're interested in, even present the information in a way that matches how you learn best.
So it's like having a personal research assistant who gets you...
Exactly. And with all the progress in natural language processing, we might even have voice-activated deep search.
Oh, wow.
It would be even easier to use.
So you could just ask your complex research question out loud.
Yeah. And the AI could give you a full report in minutes.
That sounds incredible. But how can we be sure these AI assistants are being objective?
Right. How do we know they're not biased when they analyze and present information? That's something researchers are working on right now. It's about designing algorithms that are smart, but also fair, transparent, and accountable.
Okay, I see.
And it's also about teaching people to be critical thinkers, to question the information they're given, whether it comes from a person or an AI.
It sounds like we're on the verge of a whole new way of finding information and learning.
I think so.
Where AI will be a major part of the process.
It's exciting and a little scary all at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
Deep search has so much potential, but it comes with big responsibilities. It's up to us to make sure it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've explored the tech behind deep search, the companies competing to make it better, and what it could mean for the future.
It's a field that's changing every day.
So thanks for joining us as we explore the world of AI deep search and the quest for knowledge in the age of AI.